G'day everyone, welcome to today's Rapid Fire. Really like what I'm seeing in the markets, the monthly, the weekly, the daily, they are all aligning for us to be building towards an October, November, December. That is one to remember. So the bull market vibes are definitely here. There's a lot of energy, there's a lot of buoyancy, especially in altcoins right now. But we do have to remain sober that we are still in a macro lower high. I guess in the shorter term, we've created our first higher high. But broadly, I think there's still going to be some shenanigans between now and the election. Potentially up to two scenarios here that are very visible in my mind, whether we run up to 70 and then back to 65, or we do a bit of a retracement now and go back into 60. Look, it just looks constructive to me. The weekly is closed really responsibly above the 20 and the 10 EMA. The monthly still is above that 10 EMA. Everything looks perfectly poised, again, for us to have that bull market that everyone wants. Let's crack straight into some items that I just want to share quickly, and then I'm going to go into some charts I just love the look of right now that you guys can maybe sink your teeth into. So $16 billion worth of distributions from the FTX bankruptcy will start happening tomorrow. Now, I want to be very clear, that does not mean that all of that is going to re-enter crypto, but some of it will. So there's a lot of hopium going on here that we're going to see over the next 3 months. A lot of the FTX capital moving to altcoins and Bitcoin. And that money, even if it's a fraction of that, is going to make some cryptos absolutely fly. So there is liquidity. We've also seen that the stablecoin market cap is at an all-time high, and that just continues to climb. So there is capital waiting on the sidelines to come back in. I won't go up to monthly and the weekly to show you what I've just described, but this is what I was meaning before, guys, when I say the lower highs, so the macro lower highs are still in play here. So we just have to be a little bit careful. While this does look really constructive in terms of the higher low, and higher high in the shorter term sense in this area of this 5 month plus consolidation, looks again incredibly positive, and we've closed back above the 200 and the 10. We need to hold here, and that is absolutely imperative. So like most of the altcoin charts, we're having an impulse, the staircase up, higher high, just a little impulse, higher low, higher low. So this beautiful staircase is happening here. What we want to be seeing here is this first stair being put in here as we fall back to that 10, the volume support, also the 20, the 200. So we do not want to see this, sort of lose this level here and just fall through, because that's when we can really move back to 60. Now, maybe come into this area here. I don't think that's bad at all. I think that's actually, probably going to be quite positive for a larger move. But here, I can definitely see this kind of action happening, and then we could maybe come back if there's some little skullduggery happening at the end of the month. Look, either or. We see here that the Stochastic RSI is really mature. That's starting to roll over. The RSI is looking like it wants to roll over too, almost in line with price. So it does sort of point to me a shorter term pullback is on the cards. But again, the trend, the path of where we're going, it's super, super obvious. And altcoins, again, are showing that additional bullishness and buoyancy in the market. Just want to quickly touch on as well, guys, again, read my newsletter a few weeks back. I had the three that I'm really looking for, which was BTC dominance. So this is what altcoins to really run. Bitcoin dominance needs to break down. Right now, it's looking rather weak. I want it to come, to these sort of areas. USDT dominance, so stable coins, the market capital in stable coins of the USDT at least, not the others, USDC and others. But this is setting up for potentially a run back into resistance and then rolling over. So that would mean that USDE is then moving back out into the market. To see if it goes into altcoins, though, we do want to see that the total 3 market cap is actually continuing. Now, this chart looks phenomenal. You can see the breakout here of the total 3. It's now above the 200-day moving average. Also, it's into that point of control. Yeah, I want to see for optimum, platforming to move higher into that much larger uptrend. I want to see it sort of base along here and then rip higher. And this would be, altcoins going off its tree and giving you that bull market that everyone wants. Now let's have a look look at a few cryptos I'm hyper focused on. The meme coins are popping. Now Popcat hasn't really done a massive, move in the short term. It's actually had a bit of a consolidation, but it did have one of the first moves into, I guess, the all-time high region, and it did make a new all-time high. Now, this is very logical that we're seeing once we're closed above that all-time high, we see a bit of liquidity grabbing and it moving back down, chopping out a lot of those last-minute longers that just think, okay, this is going to double and triple from here. We didn't quite see that really strong conclusive close with a lot of volume coming in. We saw the volume actually started to leave Popcat up in these regions, and sellers started to take over. So this is kind of good though, that we're seeing this pullback to the 10 EMA. We don't want to lose this structure because this right now is just like the staircase up. All-time high, come back, reload before we now, base and go through here. But broadly, I think PopCat is will be one of the major performers over this next short to mid-term. But I do want to see some more daily closes above, these levels. See this wick starting to come through. I don't necessarily like that. This could really curl over here, create a lower high, and then roll back down to this support level. So just want to be a bit careful there if we see maybe this structure get taken out at about 90 cents, 91 cents, that kind of region. Solana is the likely type out of, let's say, the big boys, the top three. I'm just a bit cautious here of buying anything right here. It has closed back above the 200-day moving average, which is fantastic, and it's back above this downtrend line. But for ultimate risk reward, in terms of keeping your risk small and giving you maximum reward, it is actually waiting for this overhead resistance to be reconquered. This yellow line that I've just drawn here needs to get above and base above this breaker. You see how important it is? Bang, bang, and now we're underneath it. So you flip that, and you see over here it was used as the lid as well for this whole move or the breakdown. Get above that, Solana's then going probably to 200 plus over the short to mid-term. Watching that. Also, if you're looking for the relative strength on, how do you gauge when something is probably going to outperform Bitcoin and likely in the USD sense, is watching the BTC pairs. So I'm looking at all of them, and Solana's just poking its head above the 200-day moving average against Bitcoin. That's what I like to see. You follow the purple lines that I've just drawn here. I want it above the volume. I want it to be basing, a few daily candles above that level, and then I think she's off. And then that's when the USD pair should really skip. Now, we've been huge on Sui of late. We've loved it. There is a little bit of a warning sign here under the all-time high support. I mean, there's a lot of strength coming through, but we're seeing the RSI, the momentum start to wane there while the price is climbing higher. This kind of looks like a bit of a liquidity grab, to the upside where we have the rollover now if momentum continues. On the flip side of that, this trend is so strong that this could very well just be pulling back to 70 on the RSI on the daily before, blitzing through that all-time high, that $2 region. So I can see both arguments there. I think if you've got a shorter term mindset, you're going to be in trouble. But if you have that mid to longer term where you see the path, you see the massive trend on the weekly, the monthly, and even on the daily, it's just going to go higher. But none of these are just going to go straight up. They're going to have pit stops. They're going to create that staircase up, those higher lows and higher highs. They take time to develop. And I guess we just need to remember as well, if you've got a portfolio of a broad mix of different cryptos, some are going to run when others don't, and then that dynamic will be flipped. So some niches run and others do. Technically, liquidity and capital flows between different things and then runs higher. Now, speaking of Sui, we put Cetus in our newsletter last week. Is one of our high cap, just something you need to watch in your portfolio as a ecosystem play on Sui. I think it's about $40 million market cap, which is nothing. Sort of similar to Drift. This is a bit higher now, but since we mentioned it's up about 53%. So I was under that this overhead horizontal that I was watching, and once it ripped above, had an alert go off, and I was like, buy. But it's just absolutely ripped. So that's fantastic. That's sort of paid off. But again, I just want to highlight, if you're looking at ecosystem plays, Solana, you're looking at the ecosystem there, Solana's running, you get interested in those ecosystem plays again, or adding to those positions if they're showing strength. Sui shows massive strength. Cetus, absolutely ripped, and it's such a low market cap. And if it's being used and you see a lot of fundamental value in it, kind of makes a ton of sense. So Cetus here has probably got a long way to go, but I'd be just looking for dips here, probably where the purple line's coming. I would say maybe back down to that 14.5 cents, something around that region. But it is very, very close to an all-time high. And again, you have to just look at the broader trend and not get shaken out in that shorter term sense. Stacks is looking really good, shaping up. A lot of these cryptos are forming that higher low trend, and that is something you need to pay attention to. See here, high, or even just through here. This beautiful high low, and it's consolidating under a serious resistance point, which is the 200. That's bullish in my mind. And even if it falls down to here, that is still perfectly retesting the resistance flip support lid on this entire area. So FET looks really, really nice. Like I said, Stacks looks really nice. Something else we have been following in the newsletter as well in our top 10 is Beam. I think Beam is going to be a huge performer in this bull market based on that gaming narrative. But you can just see here, this really nice setup. So run into that downtrend resistance, come back, create that higher low. Then we had the break. We've got a higher high through this region here. Now it is sort of retesting this block of volume here, and I want to see it base and support through here. And then once it does, it's going to rip through that 200 and create a sort of a very conclusive higher high through this region. So yeah, there's a lot of strength in this market. A lot of these altcoins and the meme coins just look so strong right now. But they're all going to have pullbacks, because if this is a sustainable move, they are going to have a bit of a pit stop. Now, Pepe is one of the best. Like WIF is another one. You see here, Pepe's reclaimed this, for now, this level that it sort of broke down from up here. So if you pull it through here and had conviction, congratulations, fantastic. See, all the newsletter buy levels were really strong and important there. But this pullback up here, then down, again, this is trying to form that. I wouldn't be surprised if it dipped below just to sort of wipe out some stop losses underneath. Again, this is why you're looking at the mid-term and the longer term, because the shorter-term stuff, if you have your stop losses and all that, you can get shaken out of a lot of your positions, so you just have to be careful. So broadly, guys, really like where the market is positioned, where it's going. Be patient. I think this is just beginning to show us that the bull market is about to begin. So a few things need to obviously go our way, but there's a lot less, I guess, resistance broadly for us to move into that seasonal October, November, December, and then 2025 that we're all expecting. So have a wonderful day. Also, big congratulations and a big thanks to all the callers that I had through September. Those one-on-one calls, I loved them. They were fantastic. I hope you guys got a lot out of it. I think we also, from one of those calls, we've got a mastermind upgrade. We also got Quantum Profits subscriber, and also a potential fund investor. So they were really productive calls. So thank you everyone who joined me on them. We'll definitely try and do them again at some point. Have a wonderful day. See you later. Bye.